Welcome to this lesson. Today we will be looking at chemistry, and the main thing we will be focusing on is how to balance a chemical equation. Before you start balancing a chemical equation, there are some few things you must know. One is chemical equations are divided into two. We have the side before the arrow and the side after the arrow. This side before the arrow is known as the reactant side, and this side after the arrow is known as the product side. What is the main concept about balancing a chemical equation? What they are asking you to do here is to make sure the number of elements on the reactant side are equal to the number of elements on the product sides. For example, here when you look at the first element, which is xenon, xenon is 1. How do you know it's 1? Because when no number is placed in front of it like this, what tells you, what we know is there is 1 always in front here. Then you will know it by the number in front of it. Then when you're going to be balancing the the equations, you have to know also another thing. That is, you are going to be adding numbers to these symbols to make sure the number of elements on this side equals the number of elements on this side. The number of elements on the reactants equals the number of elements on the product sides. Okay? Here you will start by listing all the elements on the reactant side, and after there you will come to the elements on the product side. Just for example, it's going to be xenon, then fluorine. Then you give the number of xenons. Here, as I said earlier, there is 1 that is always in front of any element that is not put. You're going to put the 1 here. And then you have fluorine, which is having this 2, meaning it's the number of atom it has. Then you come to the product side. You also list the 2 elements. You have xenon and you have fluorine. Then here we know xenon has 1 in front. It's going to be 1 atom. And then the atom for fluorine is going to be 6, because you are seeing 6. But then we said the equation here is not balanced. What you have to do is to balance this to make sure the number of elements on the reactant side equals the number of elements on the product side. Now what are you going to do? Like here we say xenon is 1 here, and here xenon is 1. We say xenon balanced, but here we have 2 fluorine and 6 fluorine. The easiest way to balance this is see the one that has a bigger number, which is 6. Take the 6 and divide it with a smaller number, which is 2. You're going to get 6 divided by this 2. 6 for fluorine and the 2 for fluorine. Then you're going to get 3. This 3 you've gotten is the number you're going to put in front of the one that is less, which is this. Now when you count, you're going to have 3 times 2, which is going to be 6. Then check here, 6 xenon, fluorine, here 6 fluorine. 1 xenon, 1 xenon. Now we say fluorine will move from 2 to 6. Now we say like this, the equation is balanced. When you check the second, number 2 here we have, you list the element on the reactant side, and then the elements on the product side. Here we have 2 elements. We have sulfur, then we have oxygen. Sulfur, we have 8 atoms. For oxygen, we have 2. Come to the reactant side. The reactant side, we have sulfur as 1, and then oxygen as 2. Then when you check, oxygen and oxygen balanced, but sulfur here 8, but sulfur here 1. Check the one that is big, divide with the one that is small. Here sulfur is 8 and this side is 1. You're going to take the 8 and divide it by this one. When you divide 8 by 1, you get 8. Therefore this 8 is the number you're going to put in front of sulfur. You're going to put here. But then this is the challenge. The moment you put a number here, if there are 2 elements or maybe a compound having 2 elements or 3, the number you put here will also be the same number that is going to be for the next. Like here we have this 8 is for sulfur and this 8 also is for oxygen. Then your oxygen is going to move from 2 2 something now. It's going to move from this 2 to 2 times 8, which is going to be 16. Now, on this side, sulfur 8, sulfur 8. Move from 1 to 8. We say sulfur is balanced, but oxygen now not balanced. What are you going to do? You again see this one now, oxygen is 16, but here oxygen is 2. Take the bigger number, divide by the smaller number. You take 16 and, you take 16 and you divide it by this 2. 16 by 2, you get 8. Now this 8, you're going to put in front of oxygen. Now therefore, when you check the equation, this one will move from 2 to 8. Now, when you check here, sulfur 8, sulfur here 8. Then you check oxygen 2 times this 8, you get 16. Times 8, you get this 16. And then check this side, you have 2 times this 8, you get 16. We say our equation is balanced. Now the third number, you just list also the elements like hydrogen, the number of atoms 2, oxygen, the number of atoms 2. Come to the side of the product, you have hydrogen, the number of the number of atoms there 2. When you come to oxygen, the number of atoms here 1. The number of is only 1 atom. But now we say the equation is not balanced. Hydrogen balanced, but oxygen not balanced. Take the bigger number, divide by the smaller number. Now oxygen 2 is bigger than 1, then it's going to be 2 divided by 1. Then you're going to get 2. This 2 is the number you put here to make sure your oxygen goes to 2. Now oxygen will move from 1 to 2. But now this 2 has affected hydrogen. From being 2, now we have 4 atoms of hydrogen. This 2 plus 2, this 2 times this 2, you get 4. Hydrogen on the product side will move to 4. Now what do you need to do on the other side? Take the bigger number, divide with the smaller number. Now you're going to get this 4 on the product side, the 4 of hydrogen, divide by the 2 of hydrogen from the reactant side. Now what are you going to get? 4 divided by 2, you get 2. This 2 is what you put in front of hydrogen. And like this we say, your equation balanced. Easy, right? You go to the next, the last number. Check here, how many atoms, how many elements do you have? You have iron, then you have hydrogen gas, then you have oxygen. Then the number of iron here, 1, the number of hydrogen, 2, the number of oxygen atom, 1. Then you come here, iron, here the number of iron is 3, the small 3 in front. Oxygen, the number of oxygen is 4. Then hydrogen, the number of hydrogen is 2. Check. Here we have 1 iron, but here we have 3. What do? Take the bigger number, divide by the smaller number to know what to put in front of iron. Now what are you going to do? You get this 3, divide by 1 of iron. What do you get? 3 divided by 1 is 3. It is this 3 that you take and put in front. Now here you say it moved from 1 to 3. You have here 3 iron and also here 3 iron. Now you check oxygen 2. For this side, but this side we have 1 oxygen. What do? Take the bigger number, divide by the smaller number. 4 for oxygen, divide by this 1 for oxygen. When you take the 1, you divide, what do you get? 4 divided by 1, you get 4. Now this 4 is what you're going to use to put in front of hydrogen. In front of, it was supposed to be here, but since there is no plus sign that divides hydrogen and oxygen, this is a radical, you cannot separate it. Therefore, you're going to put the 4 in front of hydrogen. Now, this 4 is also going to be for hydrogen and for oxygen. Now, on this side, you have 4 oxygen, but now hydrogen moves from being 2 to being 4. Now, let's say oxygen moved from 1 to 4 now. But then hydrogen now, on this side, we have 4 times 2, which is 8. Now, what are you going to do here? Take the bigger number of hydrogen, divide by the smaller number on the other side. You're going to have 8 hydrogen this side, divide by this 2 hydrogen. Now what are you going to get? 8 divided by 2, you get 4. It is this 4 you put here. When you check, your equation is balanced. How do you balance it? Check here. Iron 3, iron 3. Hydrogen 8, hydrogen 4 times 2, 8. Then oxygen, this 4 will also be for oxygen, which is going to be 4. This side, oxygen is 4. We say your equation is balanced.